Okay, here's the second part of this video on working out about these usernames, and we're going to use string operations and string slicing and things like that. So your program should read the username and decide, it says. Right, okay, so let's first of all, now one thing I want to point out here is that what we're not going to have is a loop. Okay, we're not going to re-ask over and over again. So if the username that they type in is less than 6 characters long, then it's just going to say you should enter a valid username and end. Okay, it's just going to end. All right, rather than keep asking over and over again. So because we haven't really looked at loops, while loops, yet in Python. So let's just start off by doing this bit in the code. You should read in the username. Okay, so read in the username. So let's go up here. Let's just delete all this, and we're going to read in a username. So let's just say username is equal to, and how do we read in? That's input. So we're going to input, enter your username. Okay, so that's that bit done. So let's go down. What do we got to do next? It says, if the username is less than 6 characters long. Well, how do I decide how long the character is? The password is, sorry, the username is. Well, the username length is gotten from this len function. So if it's less than 6, it's got to be at least 6, in other words. So we're going to say, if the length of the username is less than 6, colon, we're going to print a message to say print your username must be at least 6 characters long. Okay. Now, if not, if it is at least 6 characters long, we're going to go into this bit of the code here. So we're using an else statement. So we go if, and the length of the username is less than 6, we're going to do this. Otherwise, in other words, else, colon, we're going to go to the next bit. Now, what does the next bit ask us to do? It asks us to, if the username does not contain a underscore character. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, that's quite straightforward. We do that with, keep being lost here, up here. We're going to then say, actually what we could do to make this a little bit easier, we could just set this valid username is false. So in other words, this Boolean variable called valid username is going to be either true or false. It's going to be true if it's valid or false otherwise. So let's assume before we've inputted it that valid username, sorry, after we've inputted it, we're going to assume that it's true to start with. Notice true has got a capital T. Put a little comment in here. Assume that the username is true until we've tested it. So this is an invalid. It's an invalid to have less than characters. So I'm setting this valid username variable to be false. So the next bit. So the next bit says, where is it? Up here. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Up here. There. It says if it doesn't contain the underscore character. Now, how do we do that? Well, the easiest thing to do that is to say if then this quote underscore not in username. We're going to do another message. We're going to say print your username must have a underscore character. And then we're going to set valid username false. Okay, so that's that done. Let's go back to our quest again. If the valid username, the program should decide if the user is a member of staff or a student. Okay, a member of staff or a student. Well, That's looking at the last two characters, isn't it? The last two characters. You remember how we did the last two characters? Well, we go back up here, and the last 5 characters was done -4 : so we're going to do the last 2 characters. That's going to be a -2 : so back to here. So we're going to say if username and then -2 : is equal to, actually we could do a little variable here. We could say last 2 characters equals, that's this thing. Okay. And we can say if last 2 characters is equal to, double equals for equal to, underscore s, then we're going to say print you are a student, else we're going to print, oh, actually we need it. Let's go back to the thing again. What does it say? It says, if the user is a staff or student, right? Okay, so we've got staff, which is a teacher, or student. So staff is teachers and admin staff. Okay, so anything else other than a student is considered to be staff. Right, okay. So we can just say else. Print you are staff. Right, that's that then. Done then. Let's go to the next bit then. What does it say next? It tells us, keep going the wrong way. If they are a student, the program should find out their year group. Right, so the year group is basically the first 2 characters. Yeah. Okay, so that's what we need to do, get the first 2 characters if they're a student. So let's go back to our code again. So let's go back to if they're a student. That's in here, right? So we need their year code. So we're going to year code. Let's call year code is equal to, and we want the first 2 characters of their username. So it's username 2. That's the first 2 characters of there. And then we're going to print message year code is colon, and then we're going to add to that concatenation the year code. Oops, I keep swapping that page. Back again. So that's their year group. The program should also display the initial of the student as well as their last name. Okay, so the initial, well, that's the next one. And then their last name goes up to, so it starts at the 3rd character, 0, 1. So the second character number 2, number 0, 1, 2, up to -2. Okay, so that will get that J Fox. So let's just get our name out first. So in other words, J Fox, K Johnson, R Taylor. We'll do that first of all. So let's go back to our code. This is also inside the student. So we've got a student here. We're going to go actually, we need to do that whether it's a student or not. So let's get the username, or not the username, we've got username, it's the person's name. Person name equals. So this is going to be the username, and it's going to start off at 2 and end -2, hopefully. We'll test this out in a minute and see whether it works. And then we're going to print. Let's get the first name now. So the first name is the first character of person name. So that's going to be person name 0. So first, I'm in the first character, which has got index 0. And last name. So this is first name. It's the initial, isn't it? Person initial, I'll call that. And then person last name. That's going to be person name, and that's going to be starting from position 1 and going right to the end. Let's print that out. So let's print your initial is, and then add to that concatenation the person initial, and we'll go print your last name is going on, add to that person last name. Yeah, is that everything else we've got to do? Yeah, finally the program should display whether the user is a student, teacher, or admin staff. All right, okay. So we can say here, if they're a student, we're going to specify that's this two, the last two characters. So if last two characters, S again for student, print you are, oh, it's already said you are a student, you are staff. Okay, we've already printed you are a student. We don't really want to print that again. So let's just say if it's T, you are a teacher. And then elif last two characters. If you're an academic, sorry, an admin staff, characters equals A for academic staff, I think. Admin staff, sorry. Is that right? A for admin staff, yes. Print you are an admin staff member. Oh, okay. Right, the chances of this working first time are very remote, but don't worry about that. We can debug it, see what it says. Okay, enter the username. Let's take one of the examples that we've given here. So let's just take this example, perhaps. I'm going to copy that to the clipboard and to put that in there. And I'm going to paste. Can I paste into there? It says you are a student, year code is 09, and then it goes wrong. Okay. Person initial is not defined on line 24. Person initial. Person initial. Initial. Okay, there we go. Let's try that again. Notice my variables have to be named consistently. So go again. Here we go. You're a student. Yeah, that's the underscore S. Year code is 9. Initial is K. And surname is Johnson. Seems to work. Let's try another one. You can never just say it works just by testing it once. So let's try this one. Staff. Yes, you are. You're a staff member. Because a teacher or an admin is staff. Initial is P. Yes, it is. Your last name is Jones. Correct. And you're a teacher. Notice it doesn't give you your there's no such thing as a these what's it called? What did they call it? I've forgotten now. Year group. There's no year group because only students have year groups. Okay, I hope that helps. So if statements here going on, lots of if then, and using these string using these string slicing mechanisms